Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on Respect, the Aretha Franklin movie starring Jennifer Hudson and Forrest Whitaker. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Wokistan, a novel, Hollywoke, another novel, political satire, and of course the Pineys books 1 through 6, comedy, horror, and South Jersey. Links in the description. Support the channel if you can, and don't forget, Little Joan and I have 2 other videos on Bitchute and Rumble each day. And that's all the news and political stuff that YouTube can't handle. Today is a Hollywoke hot take and a headline, going through the news. It is quite ranty, just to warn you ahead of time. I may get ranty on this. Respect. Now, this is a typical biopic of a singer, the rise and fall, because there's always a rise and fall, and everything in Hollywood is over dramatized, and this already feels like it's way too dramatic. But look, it starts out with Aretha as a genius, a 10-year-old sort of prodigy, and right away it's like, oh, you need to earn respect. Oh, that's the title of the movie, and they say respect like 10 times in the trailer, so they must say it 100 times in the movie. So it already feels very contrived. But Forrest Whitaker is always great. I mean, Jennifer Hudson looks good in this. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be good or what. But it's about her trials and tribulations, and she had problems, and she falls in love, but then she falls out of love, and she makes so much money. And, they even show in this trailer her writing the Respect song, and it just feels, it might be true. She's sitting there going, R-E-S, R-E-S-B. And then her backup singer's going, Ree, because her short name is Ree. So, maybe that's true. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just wrote a good song because she was a good songwriter and they were singers. Maybe. All I know is if I ever become famous, whether when I'm still alive or, after I'm dead, my books become super famous, please don't make a movie about me like this. Please just make a regular movie about a regular guy who wrote books. Please don't exaggerate my life and make it all dramatic. I hate it. I just hate it. I hate how over dramatized the whole thing is, because it just feels like too much. But this is what Hollywood does. Is that, what's the name, Mark Maron? Is Mark Maron playing the record producer? I think he is. I think that's him. That looks like him. So it's about her rise as a great recording artist and all the problems she had and all the drama, and it looks good. It looks good. If you like the music, I'm sure you're going to like the movie. It's called Respect. Let's see. Story by Callie Corey and Tracy Scott Wilson. Screenplay by, I assume, Tracy Scott Wilson. Do we have a director? I don't think we do. But in theaters in August. Find out what it means. In theaters in August. Yeah, it'll be a good movie. But you got to be old enough to remember the music. Kinda. this is for an older crowd. Even I'm a little too young for that music. I remember listening to it, but it wasn't like, I was a teenager in the 80s. This wasn't hot in the 80s. This was like old music, and I listen to old music, so I like it. The people who listen to this stuff are like my parents' generation, kinda, and, So, again, it's about who you aiming the movie at. And granted, she died not too long ago, and so this is an appropriate time and space to do the movie, but in order to make it appeal to a younger audience, guess what? That's one of the reasons they dramatize it so much. I personally like to see bio movies that are more true. I want to see real stuff. I want to see truth. I just want to see true stuff. I don't want to see an over dramatized thing. I want to see what really happened to people I'm interested in. Or I don't want to see the movie. I don't want to see a bunch of bunk. I don't want to go out and see this movie and then read like, well, that didn't really happen. Or they took two events and combined them. It's different. Like when you're doing a screenplay, you're doing a screenplay, you can make the world however you want. But when you're doing a biopic, you have a responsibility for it to be relatively true. Now, like in The Reverend, the Leo DiCaprio Bear movie, that was based on a true story. And I think the true story was better. But they changed it and, again, over-dramatized it. But that wasn't a biopic. This is a biopic. So, yeah, you can dramatize it all you want, I guess. But ultimately, that then puts the weight of why you're going to see this movie and like it on the people's ability to dramatize it. And if it's not well dramatized, then... And the problem with dramatizing somebody's life, there's a certain point at which you can't change it, right? You can't change everything that happened to Aretha Franklin just so it'll be more dramatic. Therefore, you hit these walls. And once you hit them, what are you going to do? You can't go further. You can't just make up guys she was married to just to make it more dramatic. You can't make up a scene where there's a plane crash and she escapes. Like, you can't do that. You have to just work with what you have, and therefore you end up over dramatizing. You end up with a movie that's not true and possibly not dramatic enough to please people who would have been entertained by a purely fictional movie that had maximum drama. So my conclusion then is you should stick to the facts in a bio movie, and just do what you can to make that interesting. If you're going to do a movie, and look, if you did a movie about me, a lot of it would be boring. A lot of it would be me and Little Jones sitting in front of this camera. But you can make that interesting if you're creative. You make anything interesting if you're creative enough. So if Aretha Franklin was just basically mostly a normal person who just liked to write songs and was really good musically, but nothing really all that dramatic ever happened to her, you could still make it interesting without lying to the public or misleading them by making it, her dramatic romance or whatever. I don't know. It's been a long time since I read about Aretha Franklin. I'm not sure what her whole deal was. But also, too, you have to contend with the fact that people who were famous, their love life often gets over-dramatized while they're alive. So that's another reason, in my view, to tone it down, to show people, no, this is what really happened. I'm just saying. Anyhow, it's probably based on a book about her life. And, if you like the music, you'll probably like the movie. And the music's good. Aretha is funky stuff. I hope they recreate her appearance in the Blues Brothers movie, because that was fun. You better think. All right, that's it. Let's check the next movie, Joan.